Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Alex StarCraft here, taking some of my time out of my day to do this StarCraft 2 commentary for you guys not watching the Olympics, just because I wanted to cast oh so badly. I did have it up in the background while doing some StarCraft stuff earlier, getting a little bit of lag, but I promise you it is indeed closed now. And what do you know, another LiquidTLO replay. That might be all I've been doing lately. If some of you are getting tired of it, some of you want to see some action from some other players, after this I'm going to be doing the Liquid Hero replay pack, so we'll have some Protoss action on our hands. And it is, of course, LiquidTLO spawning as the blue Zerg in the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom. And in the top right-hand corner, it is TSLValue. Now, from looking this guy up, doesn't seem like, he's not actually on TSL as far as I can tell. Obviously, this is going to be TLO playing on what is, I would imagine, it's the Korean High Master Grandmaster ladder. Meaning, no doubt this player is very, very good, but no, it is not any of the TSL players. I don't even know any of the TSL Protosses. I only know I know TSL Simple and TSL Pult, but I don't know any of the others. Very bad on my part. But in our last Zerg vs. Protoss, if you guys did not see that, go check it now. We saw TLO doing some absolute insanity, staying in the game for such a long time, just fighting and fighting for victory, and I don't know if he gets it or not. You guys should go check out that game in my TLO replay pack playlist. But now he's just throwing down a spawning pool. Are we going to see something a bit more a bit more standard this game, I should say? Or are we going to see some sort of insanity, as you always have to be wary of with TLO? Now, I am going to be going ahead, and once I finish the TLO replay pack, it'll be this replay and one other. I will be making a post to Reddit, probably r/castit, maybe r/starcraft, to tell people, hey guys, I've got this thing complete now. Go check it out if you want. I'd really appreciate it. If you guys do happen across that on Reddit, I'd love it if you upvote it. Otherwise, if you hear me doing this cast and it's, well, let's say 24 hours from, okay, let's say it's Sunday and you're watching this cast, go see if you can find it on Reddit, because chances are it's probably up there. So TLO automatically built his third hatch. And this is something you're seeing more and more frequently, is the fact that, well, Zerg players have gotten accustomed to the fact that, okay, the Protoss player is going to block my expansion. Even if I bring down 2 drones, he's going to be able to block my expansion. The pylon does get cancelled, by the way. But this happens 100% of the time. So you see Zerg players more and more, they immediately just send a drone straight to their third, because they're like, well, whatever, I can get 3 hatches just as quickly anyway. This is going to be getting this one first instead. And all you have to do, keep an overlord over it. Make sure there's no cannons being built. Because fun fact for you Protoss players, you can actually build a pylon and a cannon here, and it'll be a full wall. They can't reach the pylon. Unfortunately, now a queen can reach from up here. So that's what you should do as Zerg if that ever happens. And TSLValue did go for a Nexus first, if you did not see that earlier. Followed by, of course, the Forge, the Gateway, and then the cannon after that. 2 pylons down here as well. And TLO, he's going to see everything that's going on. Nexus first is becoming so standard. The play is constantly becoming a bit more greedy, I feel. And so Zerg players, well, they're figuring out how to deal with it. 2 gases are now complete for TSLValue, as LiquidTLO's hatchery is about 50% of the way done, and this one is already completed. We do see some cute little stuff from TLO, putting his creep tumor over here so he can spread it down here first, and then start getting it towards the natural, I suppose, because spreading it towards the natural, he won't be able to put it on the creep that the natural has made, because, well, the natural hasn't made any creep yet. And that has got to be the highest occurrence of the word natural and creep in like a 3-sentence span recorded in the English language. Now, TLO is grabbing 1 gas. Now, this is a little bit interesting. Normally, you see 2 gases about 20 seconds from now. But no, he's just grabbing 1 about 30 seconds early, really. So, we're just going to see what exactly is TLO going to be doing with that. Is he going to be going for that more standard, Roach Ling play, or is he going to do something different? And TSLValue, I think he knows the Overlord is back here, or he has an idea at least. So he's building his Stargate in what one would think is the most vulnerable spot for scouting in the world. But the big thing to think of, it's also the most forward spot he can do while still in his base. You build a Void right back here. I mean, that extra 10 seconds it can take to get over there makes a pretty darn big difference, especially if they're making lots of queens, if their Evo chamber is not timed absolutely perfectly. And there we go, TLO does have a second gas now that he's mining off of. We should see him get the lair with his first 100 gas, and then Ling speed with his second 100, so that's looking like what it's going to be so far. And how is he going to deal with this Stargate pressure? And the other question, what's he going to do with the Stargate pressure? I mean, I mean TSLValue. He's getting a Void Ray. Is he going to follow this up with Phoenixes? He is rallying, as you'll see, straight across to the natural, pressuring with a Stalker. And there is another Stalker out on the way. But it does look like that is maybe going to get forced back, because Queens are pretty good. I actually don't know which wins in a fight, but is TSLValue going to follow this up with some Phoenixes? That's a big question. Use it to pick up some Queens, harass some drones, versus the Void Rays, which are really the more damage dealing, versus harassment units. But oh my god, TSLValue, you cannot kill all those Zerglings. LiquidTLO, you are insane, man. Good god. He was like 2 Stalkers, I'll just make, 20 Zerglings. Of course, the Stalkers are faster. And is he going to see this Void Ray? No, it doesn't look like he's going to. So it is just going to hit TLO's natural. He's going to have no idea it's coming. Do we have an Evo Chamber that is completed yet? Oh, no, we do not have an Evo Chamber. But, TSLValue actually not following it up with any Phoenix, or he is just now doing so after throwing down 3 extra gateways and a Robo. So what he's doing is he's going to be hitting with the Stargate, pressuring a little bit. Actually, he has a Phoenix right there. But he's just going to be pressuring a little bit, lifting up one of the Queens. The second Queen is down here attacking, and TSLValue forced to pull away the Void Ray. He is going to get a free Overlord, which is never fun for TLO. But what we're going to see TSLValue do, put some pressure on his opponent here. TLO being very smart, staying calm, just making drones. But he does need to be careful. If he does not make as many drones, if he overcommits to defending versus a Stargate, he's going to get hit with a Robo Gateway timing, it looks like, or maybe an expansion, hard to say which. And he'll have a bad time if he's not careful. We do see yet another Gateway coming down from TSLValue. He's not making anything out of the Robo yet, and he's adding on a Robotics Bay. Now, did TLO see that anywhere, and where is it anyway? Robotics Bay, where did he put that? Ah, here it is, up at the top. So no, I can't imagine TLO would have seen that. So he's going to have no idea. Now, he does have some very nice creep spread. Oh, that's actually why he did it. He put the creep tumor here so he could just start spreading it straight out across the map. You'll see just a line of creep tumors headed out here. So he's already got it towards the center of the map, which will help so much in that defending. And it does look like TSLValue is going to want to expand. That explains the Robo Bay, probably because he's just going to be looking to expand, has that higher tech already, so he can immediately start on production once he gets his base up and running, versus having to throw down that higher tech and then get it. TLO apparently needs to pause the game. But we do not see that, luckily. Can you imagine how bad that would be if a player needed to pause and you were doing a replay and the game just paused and you had to wait for it? He's gone for like 6 minutes. We do have the Zerglings swarming around these sentries and zealots and stalkers here, but TSLValue, very nice again from him, knows how many force fields he's going to need, and I don't think he lost a unit right there. Taking a look at the units lost, he sees 200 to 875, only wasting 3 force fields on that, and he still has enough energy for about 5 or 6 of them, so good on him. TLO does have these Queens sitting out here. There are going to be lift up. Oh, all 3 of them lifted up. This actually might be really bad for TLO. We do see the Queen's health falling. There is a Spore Crawler, which is now rooted, but this one Queen is definitely going to go down. Now a Phoenix is going to be able to attack as well, but that Phoenix does fall, so the Queen is going to be dropped back down. TSLValue forced to pull back, and TLO with the Spore Crawler is actually going to be defending the creep, and he's doing the Overlord creep spewing into dropping creep tumors. So TLO, being such a crazy little man, determined to spread that creep all over the place, and there is a completed Spire. Now, I'm sorry, I apparently wasn't watching the production tab for that entire time, but we do see TLO is up to 78 drones right now, over 60 to his opponent, which is good for TLO. He is grabbing his 4th as his opponent gets his 3rd, so everything looking very standard time. But TLO, you can see, he's not getting mutas. He was not getting that Spire for the purpose of mutas. I think he sees the Corruptors, or he doesn't. Oh, he did see it. So he saw the Corruptors, he anticipated their coming, or the Colossus, and so he's getting the Spire up to make Corruptors. Roaches are running in here now, and it looks like they are going to snipe the 3rd. He's going to lose all the Roaches, but he is going to snipe the 3rd. He's trying to focus down the Colossus. Oh, 2 more Roaches! Oh, the Colossus lives with 2 HP left, and that is a good thing for TSLValue. If he had lost the Nexus and his Colossus, that would have been terrible for him, but TLO has quite a bit of creep spread going on here. Very nice from him. His 4th expansion is now up and running, but TSLValue going to be sending out a push at TLO. We take a look at the army supply. We see TLO is behind, considering it's probably a lot of Roaches. That is never good. He should have, well, actually, probably not any Corruptors just yet, seeing as there is only 1 Colossus. But, of course, the Void Ray, you need something to kill that, too. The Spore Crawler gets off a few shots. but is not able to kill the Void Ray, of course. We did see TSLValue microing back that Observer just a little bit, but TLO is going to be running right in here again, trying to deny the third. TSLValue is out of position, and I think TLO is going to get the deny, and yes, TSLValue is immediately forced to go ahead and cancel that. TLO apparently, he could be going for some roach drops. He does have the speed, and he does have that drop. But now, he wants to be careful not to lose too many Overlords. The Queen is going to get killed, and TSLValue is going to be like, really? What's your creep doing here? And oh my god, TLO is forcing his opponent to be stretched out all across the map with this army, which is only so big, taking the bottom right expansion and his, I guess you would say, 5th expansion, depending on how you want to say it, but we do see a Fleet Beacon on the way for TSLValue. Blink is well on the way. Taking a look at the upgrades of these players is another important thing to do. We do see that TSLValue looks to only have +1 right now. TLO has 1-1, 2-2 well on the way, and I feel TSLValue is not in the best of shape right now. He has this assorted mixture of Stargate units, and there was a roach drop in the main. I'm very sorry I missed that, but it looks like he's going to be sniping the main Nexus, and oh my god, TSLValue just being pulled apart in this game. TLO going to try and focus down the Colossi as much as he can. He might get one of them. It looks like, yes, he will. That's huge for him. That's half that Colossi firepower gone. And they don't even have Thermal Lance. So that is not even a lot of firepower, but that is a lot of expensive units lost. He's spreading creep all over the place, making sure his opponent cannot take any of these bases. And he is going to be losing a lot of units, but he's still actually trading pretty dang cost efficiently, all things considered, that he's pulling his opponent all up across the map. 22 drones on the way, going to put him up to a total of 92. And as I was saying, we look, and TSLValue has this assortment of Stargate, Robo, and Gateway units. Did he lose both Colossi? No, he didn't. He has an assortment of kind of random units, and they're being pulled all across the map. They cannot spread out very much. There's not enough of them because he invested so much in getting all 3 different types of tech. So TLO really notices that, takes advantage of it, getting all over the map. Does he have a infestation pit yet? No, he does not. So no hive even on the way, but it looks like he might try to overwhelm his opponent with almost just roach Ling Corruptor, maybe some Mutas mixed in later, but for the time being, that is more or less what he's making TSLValue. Looks like he wants to make a push. He knows he's not in great shape. Taking a look at the Workers Guild, we see TLO's only killed 7, but the thing being, he killed not only that expansion twice, but also this expansion. So TSLValue has been, 1.5 bases maybe for almost all of this game. And we see it's really hurting him in terms of economy. He's got about half the workers of his opponent almost, and about 1,200 less mineral income, 400 less gas income. And TLO has not even taken these geysers yet. He's not mining off of this base. So if he made more drones, he could have even more economy. And here we go. TLO is going to be engaging. He needs to be really careful. He does have a few mutas mixed in, and he needs to be sure to pull his units back. Doesn't want to engage this too badly, but I feel like this is going to be really hard without Fungal. So Stalkers do have the blink. They could get right underneath a lot of the units. They can be microed back. And he's going to be killing off a good amount of creep, but did TLO try and counterattack? No, he did not. He is dropping a few roaches, however, in the natural of TSLValue. Going to deny mining for even a bit longer, and we see the mineral income suffering accordingly. It does look like TLO is going to be engaging now, coming in with a whole bunch of Zerglings. Corruptors are right on top of the Colossus. One of them does indeed fall. Some nice force is going down from TSLValue, are locking out the roaches, so it does look like he's going to clean that push up, but LiquidTLO killed all the Colossi. He still has a few Mutas, a few Zerglings, but all he really needs is, well, 54 Zerglings, and he should be able to do pretty well with this. Granted, he was only getting the missile attacks earlier, so he does not yet have that extra damage for the Zerglings, and TSLValue has a proxy pylon. This army for him is getting very scarily large very quickly, and TLO does have 13 Mutas on the way, but how big of a difference is that going to make? The Muta, obviously not the best fighting unit, and oh my god, it looks like TLO might be trying to force a base trade here. He knows he has more expansions than his opponent, and he knows where all his opponents are, so he's sending his Zerglings just all over here. He's not even trying to attack the army, pulling Lings back from over here towards his natural expansion, it seems. Or maybe just having them look everywhere. It does look like TSLValue is going to be getting up here now, and TLO certainly does not have enough to defend against it. I'm not sure what he's doing with all his units. I guess he's trying to just get an enormous flank off, but I'm not sure if it's actually going to work. He's 11 more Mutas on the way. His income is still pretty insane, all things considered, that he's lost so much. He has Spine Crawlers at his natural to help defend that, and he's running around. He does want to try and get a huge flank, or at least pick off some of these units. It'd be beautiful if you could get some sentries, but of course the fact that the Stalkers could blink under them would be very disadvantageous to TLO. So he is going to be getting a surround on every single sentry. Every single one goes down. And holy crap, that is a lot of mutas from TLO. He is going to be engaging the Stalkers, blinking in huge waves. TLO with 26 mutas right now. Take a look at the army tab. 29 mutas, 44 Zerglings, and then 37 blink Stalkers is the majority of TSLValue's economy. This expansion has now been spotted for TSLValue, and he intends to go kill it, it appears. But is that going to be a wise idea? TLO has a very, very mobile army that can really take advantage of the split army of TSLValue, and that is so many mutas, holy crap, and he does indeed snipe that last Phoenix. So all the Zerglings have gone down now, so the fire is going to be directed almost exclusively on the mutas. But that is still a lot of mutas from TLO. He just has to be careful where exactly he engages. A huge blink going underneath. We do see TLO stutter stepping the mutas while TSLValue does stutter step those Stalkers as well. But with the reinforcing Zerglings coming in, TLO is up by, well, let's see. He's up by about 9 in the army supply. He's up by about 20 in the worker supply, but I'm not sure how much longer that'll last with the Zealots headed in here. TLO has no way of defending that. We immediately see him sending all his units down here. He pulls a bunch of the drones, at least to one mineral patch, temporarily help them avoid the Zealots, and now the Zerglings have arrived, and with that Carapace upgrade, he is not going to be dying in 2 shots to the Zealots, so that's a very, very good for him. And this game has become absolute craziness, definitely almost as far as you can get from standard, but that is the one thing you can count on from TLO. He is always the entertainer, not even aiming to go for any kind of infestation pit, not even trying to go for any kind of hive tech. He is just sticking with mutas and Zerglings as long as he can. A few roaches mixed in, trying to pick off TSLValue's economy. And really, TSLValue is not in great shape in terms of economy. He has those 3 mineral fields with a combined, 150 resources. And then this one. TLO still has this base, still has this base, and he still has this base. Though this one is currently being harassed. It does get cleaned up, and it does look like LiquidTLO was going to try and do some kind of a run-by with these for a second, but it appears he's not going to. Stalkers over here are doing a lot of damage, so TSLValue doing a great job spreading his opponent thin, but there's another huge engagement coming in here now. The Zerglings do get a pretty good surround, but there's so many Stalkers from TSLValue. It doesn't look like LiquidTLO is going to be able to take those. He's only a tiny bit ahead on supply, and a lot of that is workers, so he's forced to pull back. More Zerglings have now been into the fray. They are reinforcing, but I'm still not sure if it's enough. It would be great from TLO if he just picked off the Warp Prism. That would stop TSLValue from reinforcing immediately, and this army can be cleaned up by reinforcements. But these mutas might actually be enough to just kill the Stalkers themselves, so TSLValue is microing very, very nicely. It does look like almost all the Stalkers are going to die. It's close. The numbers are almost equal, but with the reinforcing Zerglings, it looks like TLO is going to clean that up. Now, TLO, go kill the Warp Prism, TLO. It has 4 hit points, TLO. Go kill it. Kill it. Or just kill your opponent. He is pushing into his opponent's base, but no, it looks like he's going to head back now. He's probably going to go clean that up. Though this expansion was killed during all that pandemonium, and all the drones here were killed. So TLO, oh my gosh, actually has very few workers now, but that means he is double the army supply of his opponent. He's taken a lot of economic damage, so he's going to need to try and end it pretty soon. These 3 Stalkers are like total bosses. Between them, about 45 kills. And I get a chance to catch my breath for just a second. TSLValue is now officially 1 base, though LiquidTLO is officially, well, about 1 and barely a 2nd base for the time being, though he could grab this and he could grab this. Since he does already have the creep, he does not have a whole lot of minerals. So TLO is going to be going in here now, but he wants to try and engage in a position where that's, well, not absolutely terrible for him. Like this one may well be. If his opponent just gets off a good force field, the Zerglings will be doing almost no damage, though they are up to +1 attack now, which is definitely going to help them out. I'm not sure who's going to be able to come out ahead in this. We do see LiquidTLO still with a significant army supply advantage, but his income is just so low, but both players' income are very, very low. So it's going to be interesting to wait and see exactly what TLO is going to do. He's just kind of biding his time. You see injects have slipped because of the amount of insane micro that both of these players have had to do during this game. So not blaming either of them. When we see Templar Archives on the way for TSLValue, probably because, well, he's thinking the best way he can stay in this game is to use units that can trade energy for damage. And what better versus Mutalings than the infamous Psystorm? But TLO has quite a few Mutas now, and it's going to be a bit before there's any High Templar with any energy to do a Storm. Now, those Corruptors are going to all get picked off. TLO is going to be running away the Corruptor, and it does look like it is going to live. So, scouting Corruptor for the win. But TLO is going to go running here into the natural. He's not going to quite be able to get in, but all he needs to do is kill that Zealot, and he's in the natural expansion. No, he's not. Oh, God, TLO. Good. Okay, you killed off the Zealot. He's in the natural expansion. Now, you can kill this, which can help with Chrono Boost. And the army is actually a little bit split up. There are still Archons, and those are, of course, very good versus Mutas and Lings as well. That's probably what TSLValue is actually going to be using that for. But he's going to be doing a lot of damage in the main, runs a bunch of his Mutas to the probe line, is trying to kill off a lot of those. Of course, his opponent is oversaturated, so this throw is not going to make a huge difference for the time being, but TLO is constantly reinforcing more and more into his opponent's natural expansion, and TLO is now going for the gateways. This is the basis of the Protoss army, really, and if he can take out all the pylons, even for just a minute, it'll cost way too much for TSLValue to rebuild those, get his gateways back powered up, and he's going to unpower every single gateway if he kills this one pylon. TLO, no, he was going to try and run back here, but there are enough Stalkers there. TLO, just kill the pylon. Kill the pylon, TLO. No, he's just going to be running them around, trying to keep them alive and in good position. He needs to be careful versus the Archon not to get too much splash damage. We do see him split those Mutas in the split second he gets before the Archon does attack it, and now he knows he can engage this, and we see TSLValue forced to pull a lot more of his Stalkers over here, reinforcing them as best he can, and I'm saying if TLO just killed that pylon, there would be no reinforcements for TSLValue, but he is going to be forced out of there, having done quite a bit of damage. We see these players has lost so much in this game, each of them between them 27,000 and 37,000 resources lost. But now there's going to be a whole bunch of Stalkers counter pushing, and I'm not sure if TLO is going to be able to hold it. He does still have an army supply advantage, has about the same number of workers on, well, about the same number of bases, because both players are totally starved. Though granted, this base is actually almost mined out. This one's still pretty dang healthy. There's probably about 8,000 minerals left on here. There's probably about 800 left on here. So TLO is going to be able to hold out much, much longer in this war of attrition, especially with such a mobile army. But again, the question is, will he be able to hold it off when TSLValue pushes with what is really this all-in Stalker Archon ball? All TLO has right now, he's, 23 Mutas for 25 Stalkers, 1 Archon, 3 Zealots, and 28 Zerglings. Now, TLO, he is probably going to be incorporating the Queens into his army, and that'll really help him out, moving over his Spinecrawlers to defend his last base. And I feel like TLO, all of a sudden, has a pretty good chance between Spinecrawlers, Queens with a lot of energy, and these Mutas and Lings. He can be in pretty good shape. So here come the Stalkers, here come the Zealots, and all the probes are with them, or at least an enormous amount. He needs to be able to reinforce a tiny bit. But TLO just needs to pick his engagement wisely, because he knows all he needs to do is hold and he will win the game. It looks like he's going to be pushing in for a second up here, maybe trying to pick off a spare unit here or there. The issue being that if his opponent gets a blink off underneath of him, well, that's not going to be very good. And it's very interesting to see. There's actually not a whole lot going on in this game. The macro has calmed down. They're really just controlling their units. Both players upwards of 200 APM right now, pushing 300. And these Stalkers going to be ignoring the Overlords for the time being, but I think TLO is going to pick off these Stalkers, and at this point, losing 3 Stalkers is a pretty big deal. One of them doesn't escape, but 2 more go down. And just like that, that's 4 less army supply for TSLValue, and oh my god, TLO's army is growing to twice the size of TSLValue's, and it looks like we are going to have a final engagement coming here in just a second. All the Mutas, Zerglings, and Roaches are going to be running in. Stalkers blinking back so the probes can soak up some damage, but the Archon does fall. Now it is just Mutas and Roaches versus Stalkers with some nice micro, but there is another Archon that will be able to do a lot of damage, and I think TLO's army is dying a lot quicker than TSLValue's, but TSLValue's blink is going to be cooling down very soon. He will not be able to use it anymore, and there's only 4 Stalkers on the map for TSLValue, 7 in total. 3 of them are right here. Now 2 of them are right here, and all of those have fallen. TSLValue down to 35 supply, and I think TLO, like the boss he is, gets the well-won good game and takes it. So TLO, I love you. Your games are one of the most amazing things ever. I hope all of you who are watching enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm going to be finishing up the TLO replay pack today, so look for all of those posts. And have a wonderful afternoon, guys. Cheer for the USA, or whatever country you're from, for as a matter of fact, since a lot of you are not from the USA, cheer for your country in the Olympics.